What's the total cost, please?
I don't know the total cost.
You have no idea?
Well, it's going to depend very much on the individual issuer.
So you impose this rule on every single entity that you regulate and you don't know the total cost?
Well, Senator, it depends on the individual issuer. We put in place...
You don't know the total cost?
It's going to depend on the individual issuer.
You don't know, do you?
Because it's going to depend. I don't think there's necessarily...
It's going to be billions of dollars, isn't it?
I don't believe on a per issuer basis that it's going to be...
I didn't say per issue. I mean the total cost.
Senator,
it's going to be billions of dollars, isn't it?
I don't know, Senator.
Yeah, it is, and you know it is. How much, after asking all these businesses to spend billions of dollars, how much is that going to lower world temperatures?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Congress Lens. I'm Audrey. If that clip didn't make you pause for a second, it probably should have. What we just saw was John Kennedy asking for something that honestly should not be controversial in government oversight. Basic accountability. In this hearing, Senator Kennedy confronts Caroline Crenshaw of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission about the cost of a sweeping climate risk disclosure rule. The moment that caught everyone's attention comes when Kennedy asks a very simple question. What is the total cost? And the response? We don't know. Now, whether someone agrees with Senator Kennedy politically or not, the issue here affects taxpayers and businesses across the country. If regulators are putting rules in place that could cost companies billions, shouldn't someone at the table actually know the total price? Today we are going to break down exactly what happened in this exchange, why Senator Kennedy pushed so hard on this issue, and why this moment is getting a lot of attention online. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Congress Lens, and turn on notifications so you do not miss our coverage of the most intense moments happening on Capitol Hill. All right, let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Romero, I know you've read the Cleary-Gottlieb report. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
I watched a lot of powerful people in this town try to cover it up. They said, oh, it's bad, but don't worry. The FDIC chairman will fix it. This was the same FDIC chairman who had been at the agency since God was a corporal and under whom all this stuff happened. And fortunately, that point of view didn't prevail. Here's the way I read the report. 97 people at that agency reported 145 separate incidents of sexual assaults. 91 others reported 141 separate incidents of gender or sexuality-based discrimination. 187 people reported 320 separate incidents of verbal abuse. Over 500 people, about 10% of the people at the agency, came forward about discrimination, harassment, mistreatment they faced at the FDIC. Now, I listened to you say all the right words. And you talked about accountability. And you talked about refurbishing the tarnished reputation of the agency. And you talked about listening. And I appreciate all that. But the phrase that got my attention was, send a clear message that this won't be tolerated. If you want to do that, what you need to do before you do your listening tours or all that other stuff, you need to investigate every one of these allegations, every single one, and find out if they're true. And if they are true, then somebody ought to be, the person who's responsible should be fired, should be sued, and or should be prosecuted. And then you'll have a cleaner agency. Now, I don't have any questions. You're either going to do it or you're not. But I think a lot of the members of the committee agree with me. We're going to be watching. Every time the FDIC comes before the banking committee, as long as I'm on it, I'm going to ask you about progress with specificity. Ms. Crenshaw, this climate risk disclosure rule that you're so proud of, how much is that going to cost the companies that you regulate?
Senator, on a per issuer basis over 10 years, I think the economic analysis was roughly $250,000 to $750,000 on a per issuer basis over 10 years.
What's the total cost, please?
I don't know the total cost.
You have no idea?
Well, it's going to depend very much on the individual issuer.
So you impose this rule on every single entity that you regulate and you don't know the total cost?
Well, Senator, it depends on the individual issuer. We put in place...
You don't know the total cost?
It's going to depend on the individual issuer.
You don't know, do you?
Because it's going to depend. I don't think there's necessarily...
It's going to be billions of dollars, isn't it?
I don't believe on a per issuer basis that it's going to be...
I didn't say per issue. I mean the total cost.
Senator,
it's going to be billions of dollars, isn't it?
I don't know, Senator.
Yeah, it is. And you know it is. How much, after asking all these businesses to spend billions of dollars, how much is that going to lower world temperatures?
I don't know. It's not designed to it's not designed to lower temperatures, Senator. It's designed to give investors information so that they can assess risk.
Why don't you just send them an email?
Well, I think there's a lot of securities laws that would prohibit us just sending an email.
Let me be sure I understand. You voted to spend, look, we all want clean air and bright water. You voted to spend, to require the people regulated and the entities regulated by the FDIC billions and billions of dollars, even though you can't say really how much it's going to cost. You're just going to make them do it. And you can't tell me today how much it's going to lower world temperatures?
Again, that's not what the rule is designed for, Senator.
Well, what's it designed for?
It's designed
to harass people?
To give investors information to
virtue
assess risk,
signaling?
To appropriately allocate their capital as they see fit.
I mean, this is insanity. You have a personal supply chain. Suppose we passed a law that said periodically you've got to report personally the carbon emissions of the people who make all the clothes you buy. You buy clothes, don't you?
I do, Senator.
And the car you drive, and the house you live in, and the food you eat. How much do you think that would cost?
We carved out all of the smaller entities, EGCs, SRCs, from the final rule to ensure that...
If you think everybody ought to report, why don't you make this rule applicable to everybody at the SEC personally and see how they like it?
Again, we carved out the smallest. We took into account the comment file, and we tried
Tell me again how much this is going to lower world temperatures. I don't know if I remember asking.
I think you know the answer to that, Senator Kennedy. Thank
Zero.
Your time has expired. Senator Cortez Masto recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Crenshaw, unfortunately, you were
After watching that full exchange, one thing really stood out to me. Senator John Kennedy came in with a simple question that deserved a clear answer. How much is this going to cost? And honestly, that is a fair question. When Caroline Crenshaw explained that the estimated cost would be between $250,000 and $750,000 per company over 10 years, that already sounds like a serious compliance expense. But Senator Kennedy wanted the bigger picture. What is the total cost once this rule applies to every company regulated by the SEC? That is where the moment became really striking. Crenshaw could not give a number. Think about that for a second. Senator Kennedy is basically saying that if regulators are asking businesses across the country to spend what could add up to billions of dollars, the regulators themselves should know the full financial impact. That is not a political point. That is basic oversight. Kennedy also raised another point that clearly frustrated him. He asked how this rule would actually affect global temperatures. Crenshaw responded that lowering global temperatures is not the purpose of the rule. According to Crenshaw, the goal is to give investors more information about climate-related risks. That answer did not sit well with Kennedy. From Kennedy's perspective, businesses are being asked to spend huge amounts of money on reporting requirements that do not directly change environmental outcomes. Senator Kennedy's argument is that regulators should not impose sweeping rules without clearly understanding both the cost and the benefit. Another thing that stood out in this hearing is Kennedy's style. Senator Kennedy is known for asking very direct questions, and that approach was clear here. Instead of letting the conversation drift into technical explanations, Kennedy kept bringing it back to the same point. What does it cost? And when that question kept going unanswered, Kennedy suggested that the rule could end up costing billions across the economy. Whether someone supports climate disclosure rules or not, Kennedy's broader point is about accountability in regulation. When government agencies introduce policies that affect thousands of companies and millions of workers, those policies should come with clear numbers and clear justification. In this exchange, Senator Kennedy clearly felt that the answers from the SEC were not specific enough for a rule that could affect the entire economy. That is why this moment is getting so much attention online. It was not just a debate about climate disclosure rules. It turned into a serious confrontation about how regulators make decisions and whether they are fully prepared to defend those decisions before Congress. Moments like this are exactly why hearings matter. They give lawmakers like Senator Kennedy the opportunity to publicly question regulators and demand clearer answers about policies that affect everyone. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Senator John Kennedy was right to push the SEC this hard about the cost of this rule? Or do you think the focus should be more on giving investors better climate risk information? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy breakdowns like this from Capitol Hill, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Congress Lens, and share it with someone who wants a closer look at what is happening inside Congress. Thanks for watching. I'm Audrey, and I will see you in the next video.